So your body is just going to say, oh, look at that. We recovered. We recovered the muscle from all the damage you did, but we didn't have enough energy to add any muscle mass. We didn't have enough calories to throw some tissue on. So instead, we're just going to maintain how big you are now. And that's where I feel like a lot of people get stuck. You know, I think I say this all the time, but the majority of gym goers are in a state of maintenance, right? Because if you were to ask anyone in the gym if they would like to be, you know, slightly more muscular, perhaps, maybe a little bit leaner in a baseline state, guess what? They're going to say they would, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the anabolic window is 100% real, but, you know, if your car runs out of gas, do you want to wait a couple days before filling it up? No, you don't. You probably want to get that bitch full ASAP, or else you're going to run out of gas. All right, so same kind of bro science logic is going to apply to your muscles as well. You know, orienting their whole day, their whole fucking life around the gym, right? And then, you know, more casual gym goers, it's not so important, right? It just depends on you, but you know, I think we could all use some more gains. That's a fucking fact. So, you know, completely perfect, right? Ideally, they would be, right? Ideally, every night I would get a perfect 8 hours of sleep, be completely hydrated, depending on if I'm bulking or cutting, be either, you know, very well and overfed in a bulking context, or, you know, just fed enough to get a good pump in a dieting phase, and then be completely, perfectly fucking crazy hyped every lift, right? That would be the best case scenario, but we don't live in that kind of world, man. We got shit to do sometimes, right? So if you got some fucked up lifts, to an extent, you just got to deal with it, right? If you're a power lifter, I guess you could have a little bit of a different perspective on that, right? If you're programmed to hit a certain number and then you miss it, I mean, shit, that was your fucking goal. But in that sense, you know, bodybuilding training, it's a little bit simpler in the fact that it's purely effort-based. You know, even if I was half as strong as normal today, not that I really would ever expect to be, but, you know, let's say for whatever reason I came down with a crazy ass sickness or some shit for the last, like, I don't know, 2 days. And today I came back feeling better, right? And I was literally at half strength. You know, if I still went hard and I got as much of a pump as I could, then guess what? I fucking succeeded, you know, right? Just because you're not where you want to be doesn't mean that the work that you're putting in isn't going to give you progress. And if you got a little bit of a roadblock, injury, fucking lifestyle, like you got to do shit or work, whatever, right? If you can work around it, you're going to come out way stronger than the guy who fucking got to coast through all his workouts. But like if you're laying at home, you don't necessarily have the motivation, you don't want to think to yourself, oh, I want to I want to stay at home just because I'm lazy, right? You might want to say some shit like, ah, geez, I'm so fucking tired. Oh, man, I can't do it. It's like, oh, it's like in your mind, you're sort of creating a scenario in which you just can't fucking make progress. You got to be able to put in more than the guy next to you if you wanna mog him. I'm not saying that's my goal. You know, you should really be trying to think about being better than you were in the past. You know, that's probably one of the most wholesome forms of motivation. But you know, we do live in the real world, right? Comparing yourself to others is kind of part of the game. So try not to let that mess with your head. Some of the people in the gym next to me, but if I stick to it, then guess what? Progress is going to come, you know? The guy who can understand the fact that lifting, tracking his macros, whatever, like sticking to that program is going to give him results. He's not going to be discouraged by the fact that he's not where he wants to be. If anything, that's going to make him more motivated, right? But it's kind of a downward spiral of beating yourself up. Because in your mind, it's almost like you're, you know, adding to the, let's say the hypothetical opposition against you, right? You can't just go to the gym and think to yourself, I want to be bigger and leaner. You do your workout and then you go home and you just don't think about it the rest of the day, right? So I guess in this, to that point, I'm really sort of trying to motivate the obsessed lifters, right? Maybe try to inspire you guys to be a little bit more lifter-centric in your day-to-day life. I'm sure there's fucking hundreds, thousands, millions of people going into the gym and just doing the same workout routine every week. You know, they've got progressive overload at the back of their mind. And in terms of their diet, you know, it's always like, ah, man, I know I'm bad. I know I'm bad for eating this. Whatever. You know, obviously in a bulking context, that's not so much of a problem. If anything, it may be a good thing if you've got trouble getting down calories, right? But, you know, to be aimless is to make no progress, you know? Wants to get bigger, wants to be leaner, then that's got to be kind of a specific goal you should be working towards. Just try to move around as much weight as possible. Or I could go a little lighter, just do the stack, and really focus on squeezing at the bottom. You know, the basic 2 styles of sets you can do are, you know, as heavy as possible, just moving the weight around, or, you know, really focusing on the like on the squeeze, going slower, lighter weight. That'd be more like push downs with a rope, or maybe some single arms. And then you can kind of do a blend of the two. You know, maybe I do a heavy set and then drop the weight, focus on the squeeze for the end. The more varied you can make your training, you know, within reason, probably the better. All right, so I curled the 30s, the 50s, the 60s. I'm ready for the fucking 75s. I'll throw some straps on for heavy dumbbell curls, just because the action of kind of twisting them and just doing the whole fucking thing. By the time I put down the weight, I feel like I've got a fucking forearm pump. So strapping in kind of takes my forearms out of the equation. I don't have to grip on so hard. Because I'm not trying to work my forearms, I'm just trying to fucking hit my biceps. So let's throw these around for as many as possible. So now I'm actually gonna use a real handle, not just the individual D handles. But I'm not just gonna do it like sitting here, upright reps like normal. I'm kind of gonna bend over. So it'll almost simulate like a skull crusher. So, I mean, compared to just doing it like upright, I swear I get a way better stretch doing it like these. I mean, it's the same shit, like I'm taking my elbow from here to here, but it just feels a little different. Obviously, I don't want to end the workout because I'm fully pumped. Well, let me rephrase. The goal of the workout isn't just to get fully pumped. Because I could sit here with like fucking 20-pound single arm, just, you know, burn out with one arm at a time. I'd get a fucking full pump, but I wouldn't get that stimulus in the muscle from the heavy weight. All right, I'd say an even mix of light pump work and heavy, you know, fucking go hard work. It's gonna combine into some at least a solid amount of growth. Ended up picking the heavy method, kind of jerry-rigging a plate onto the stack. But instead of just doing the straight bar push down, what I'll do is I'll grab the long D handles and kind of start underhand. But as I finish the rep, it sort of transition into more of an overhand push down. You gotta just have to try it for yourself, but it's kind of, I mean, for me, I'm pretty strong in the movement, but it also kind of gives me that, like, pulling the handles apart feeling that I'll get with a rope. So, I mean, as an opener, this is perfect. Yeah, I mean, that stretch at the top on the underhand, combined with the stronger sort of neutral grip push at the bottom, I'm feeling a pretty good amount of thrashing being done to the triceps.